Hello everyone, my name is Makeda Valletta, also known as the Body Scientist, and welcome to my YouTube video, Egg Basics, okay? So this is a video version of a document that I have on my blog, thebodyscientist.com. I have a entry called Egg Basics that I published a couple years ago, and it's just giving basic information on Yoni egg usage and also about the eggs that I sell. Now, I have been working with Yoni eggs for 9 years now. So 2005 is when I started working with Yoni eggs, and I started teaching women, started teaching classes. My central strength training class, I started teaching in 2007. That class combines a mixture of egg work, combined with dance, specifically dances of Congo origin in the Americas. So a lot of Afro-South American, Afro-Central American, Afro-American, North American. So a lot of black dances from the Americas that are Congo derived, and the Congo, which is very hip-centered dances, and also overall exercises for strengthening the entire body, okay? Because we want to strengthen all the muscles in the body. We want to have control over all of our muscles in the body, okay? So the way we get stronger muscles is by putting a little stress on them and by using our mind to using our mind as we contract our muscles, okay? So that is what I teach in my central strength training class, and then my sacred yoni power class is just really egg work and internal work. But really, it's good to do all of it. You also want to strengthen the muscles, all your core muscles, and have control over them. It's one thing to have strong core muscles, but you want to have control over them. Okay, so the good thing about yoni eggs is that they do help to strengthen the muscles of our deep pelvic floor and our diaphragms. And once we get more advanced and we do vaginal weightlifting, it can help strengthen the tendons and ligaments that hold on to your internal organs. And if you have not seen my intro to the cosmic egg video, you can check that. And I also have an advanced yoni egg lecture video here on YouTube, so you can check those videos. I have some other egg videos, so you can feel free to check them all. But it does help, to strengthen all of those internal muscles, okay? And as we learn to manipulate the egg, because there's different ways that we can manipulate the egg, that helps us to get more control, okay? And so these are things that I teach. But even if you don't do that, even if you just wear the egg, you will still have benefits, okay? Because your muscles still have to work to hold on to the egg. And it's good to work with different size eggs. I have a video that I just did called Yoni Egg Sizes, where I talk about the different sizes, because it is good for women for us to work with a variety of sizes. I do suggest starting with a medium or a large, and that is small. Small is more advanced. And there's drilled and non-drilled eggs. When I first started working with Yoni eggs 9 years ago, the people that I knew that sold eggs only sold jade, and they only sold drilled eggs. And on my own, I started working with different stones, and I started working with undrilled eggs. And when I started teaching women in 2007, I didn't talk about that. I would recommend that they get a drilled jade egg and, basically follow the Taoist way of doing things. But I already, I had some feelings in myself that it wasn't just the Taoists that had this practice. And there are some things that I've learned along my journey of teaching and traveling that I will share, and I am sharing in my book, that has confirmed this intuition that I had. So to make a long story short, it has led me to the point where when I started selling eggs in 2010, I did not like to push one particular egg on people. Some people are all jade, or there's some people who are just about obsidian or just about rose quartz, and I feel like we all need different medicine, okay? So a lot of times women write to me and they'll say, they'll tell me their everything they're dealing with, whether or not they've had children, if they're dealing with abuse or trauma or changes in their life, and they'll say, what do you recommend? And I always say, I don't make recommendations, because you can have 3 women that are dealing with trauma issues. And one may gravitate towards rose quartz, one may gravitate towards obsidian, one may gravitate towards carnelian. on bloodstone. We all need different medicines, so there's not one answer to the problem. And what I've found is that women gravitate towards what they need. They gravitate towards what they need. So it's not, I don't prescribe that. So I always tell women I don't make recommendations. Like, what do you gravitate towards? That is your decision to make. And I have many stories to share about that, that I've learned over the years, seeing women and their intuition with choosing eggs, and eggs speaking to them and dreaming about them. And, it's really quite interesting. And everybody's on a different journey, okay? So once you have your egg, you can choose to do a ceremony or not, how you want to clean it. Different people have different opinions on how to clean it. I've known women who decide to use apple cider vinegar, and I know women who've done that and destroyed their eggs. So I myself wouldn't recommend doing that, but there are some women who do. Some women choose to use sea salt, but I also know, I've heard many discussions I have a secret group where we discuss a lot of these things. There's very knowledgeable women, and women that have been working with eggs, and we have constant conversations. And the saltwater thing, there's things that's come up where there's issues with that sometimes, in cleansing your egg. And then the Taoist way of doing, a lot of times they recommend boiling water, but when you're dealing with quartz crystals, which are more gentle, or calcites or something, you have to be careful with the boiling water. Sometimes it can cause internal cracks in the quartz. A lot of times, most of the time, those internal cracks are harmless. But what I tend to do is just put it in hot water and not boiling hot, and just for a little while. I don't believe in over cleansing the egg. Some women are really obsessed with over cleansing it. It's up to you. There's different women who have different ways they want to charge their eggs and stones. There's not one answer to that. Certain stones are charged better at nights in the moon, some better in the sun, some better when they're buried. Some, like citrine, don't really need that. So it's good to just, whatever you resonate towards, do your research on that stone, because that stone and that crystal is also here to teach you something. Like, it has medicine for you, but it's also here to teach you something. So you do that research and research it. Look at different books. Look at different sites and find out about that stone. And just realize that what it is there to teach you. And I do recommend keeping a journal, because there's so much that's going to happen on this journey. So I discussed sizes, that the medium and large. The large is easier to feel but heavier. The medium is the medium, you have to tune in more to feel it. I classify a medium egg as about 1.5 inches in length, and it can vary in width. And a large egg is about 2 inches in length, and it can vary in width. And the non-drilled, a lot of women are afraid of it getting stuck. It's not going to get stuck. Okay, the egg will come out when it's ready. And a lot of the egg journey is about realizing that you can get more control. You want to tune in more, and you get more control of those muscles, but at the same time, you're not in control. So you realize both of those things. So I say, if an egg is up there and it's staying up there and you're trying to get it out and it's not coming out, it's because it's doing something. And it's doing something that you're not aware of. You may or may not be aware of, because we do have reflexology points in our vaginal canals, okay? So the egg is stimulating certain points and working on certain things and helping to balance our energy fields and our hormones. Some women may put the egg in and it may slide right out. Some women, it may stay in for 5 minutes and it slides out. Some women, it could be 2 hours. Some women, it's 5 hours. Some women, it's all day. Some, it's 3 days. Depending on how strong her muscles are to begin with, depends on how long she can hold it to begin with. If you put the egg in and you feel like you can't hold it, you stand up and it just falls out and you can't hold it. In that situation, it's good to just sit with it. If for every day or a few times a week, sit with it and focus on squeezing and sleeping with it, because your muscles do work with it when you're sleeping with it. But if you sleep with it, you have to be careful, because a lot of times you wake up and you forget it's in there and you go pee and it falls in the toilet. So that's one thing. But you can, if you work with it a little bit, you can gain the strength quickly to then stand up with the egg, for a little while. And then as you get more comfortable, you walk outside with it. Some women, from the very beginning, they put it up there and it's up there for hours, But whenever your muscles are fatigued, whenever that is, it will gently let go of the egg. So you feel it gently letting go. Also, if you sneeze, laugh, cough, uh, all those things will cause you to expel the egg, which also helps with your consciousness of your muscles. That you may not have even realized that those muscles are involved in the sneezing, coughing, and laughing until that happens. Um, so if you find that you're trying to get out and it's not getting out, don't freak out because it will come out if you relax. But if you tense up and you get freak out, your muscles tense. So that's not going to help, okay? And you can have sex with the eggs in. Yes, you can. Um, and that is something that I speak more about in my book, but that's a personal thing. But it's something that definitely is possible, and I know plenty of women that do and have told stories about it. Um, and what other questions? My eggs that I sell, I started selling eggs in 2010. Like I said, I started teaching my sensual strength training class in 2007. But in 2010, I went to Costa Rica to teach, and I was working mostly with Costa Rican women in the Caribbean coast and in the capital. And the woman that brought me, she told me that it was hard for women in Costa Rica to get the eggs, so she begged me to bring eggs with me. And I really searched and searched, and it was like having a hard time finding a source for my eggs. And I found some jade, and then I came back to Costa Rica. Like it was like summer 2010. I came back in the December 2010, and a woman who helped to bring me back, she had a friend who was a shaman in Mexico, who gave her these beautiful obsidian eggs. I mean, they were gorgeous. And his wife had taken my class in Costa Rica as well. And so she told me about it and showed me these eggs, and I got a few and brought them back in the end of 2010. And that's really how I started, first with the obsidian eggs and jade, and then moving on to different stones and crystals that he has in Mexico. And I also got the other half of my eggs from India. So my moonstones, my bloodstones, my rose quartz, my aventurines and amazonites, they all came from India. However, I no longer have my connection in India, and there's some issues behind that. And part of it is because there was a third party in between us. And when I would give my specifications for carvings, a lot of times they would carve the egg way bigger than I asked or way smaller than I asked. And so I would tell the third party in between us, oh, this wasn't right. And they apparently fired the carvers, and I did not want that to happen or didn't know that was going to happen. And if I knew that, I would have rather them have not carved it exactly the way I asked than for them to not be carving it at all. But they would not allow me to reestablish a relationship with them. So right now, most of my eggs are coming from Mexico. And a shaman in Mexico who he travels around a lot to various South American countries doing ceremonies in Central American countries. So this stuff is not mass produced, okay? The stones and crystals come from the earth, Mother Earth. So there has to be a certain amount of respect with it, and it's not something that there's an assembly line of people just doing. With the eggs that I sell, before I ship them out, I look at every single egg. I consider the person. I examine the eggs. There are certain things. There are certain eggs, certain stones and crystals that may have like internal cracks, like rose quartz and amethyst and clear quartz, calcites. They can have like internal cracks in them, and sometimes women see them and get afraid. There's no problem with those. I see all those things before I ship them out. You could have something like red jasper that sometimes, or amazonite, that might have some little bit uneven surfaces, but it's nothing that like scratches you or anything like that. That's normal, and it won't cause any kind of infections, because a lot of times women will ask me questions like that. So with the eggs that I ship out, I look at them carefully. And like I said, I've been working with eggs for 9 years. I've worked with all different kinds of eggs and sizes and combinations, and cracks on them, and and I've been teaching women for 7 years. So I take what I do very seriously. Okay, so I think that is, yeah. So when ordering eggs for me as well, sometimes what I have varies, what I have in stock. And I will do pre-orders. But sometimes, like I said, the person in Mexico who is carving most of the eggs, sometimes he may tell me that, he can have this ready in 2 months, but 2 months from now, maybe it's not ready exactly then because, like I said, he also is traveling around and doing ceremonies and stuff like that. And I don't like bad energy. I'm not into like rushing, rushing, rushing. In the United States and much of the world, people are like now, now, now. But he's not on the internet all the time on his phone. Things move slower. And, you know, he doesn't always have every stone and crystal at that moment either. And lately, amongst the carvers that I do know, they've been telling me that bloodstone is a shortage right now. So we just have to respect like that. These stones and crystals are ancient and they come from the earth. And patience is virtue. Okay. And if you really trust in this process, this mystical Yoni egg process, know that things come to you when you need them to, and they work out in divine order. And just be patient. I think that that's very important. But I just know that with me myself, I'm not a big company. I'm a personal trainer, a strength and conditioning specialist, now a pole dancer, and a nutritionist. And so I have clients I train. I have, things I'm writing and doing, and I travel around a lot. And so when I travel to teach classes, I have to take all my eggs with me because women in classes are interested in purchasing eggs. And so I'm also trying to, get out and ship them and, move slowly and keep track of it all. I have a new site that is actually, as we speak, being worked and will be posted very soon, very, very soon. It's being tested now in the back end that will help egg purchases be easier for all of us because it will have what I have in stock, when I will get more things in, and it'll be able to keep track of a lot of things easier for me. Because somehow I ended up, selling all these eggs. Like it wasn't something that I really set out to do. It was I was teaching women, in classes about it. But all of a sudden, selling such a variety of eggs is, it's very different. Buying and selling and dealing with that, receiving packages and shipping packages, and all while running around and doing everything else. So I just ask that if you choose to order eggs from me, please know that I do my best, and I get the best eggs that I can, and I do take a careful look at everything before I ship them out. And this is based on years of experience. And just please, be patient with me if you do decide to order from me. Okay, so you can check me out on my blog, thebodyscientist.com. Please subscribe to my blog and check out my other videos on YouTube about Yoni eggs. Okay, so I hope this video helped, and this is Egg Basics with Mikeda Valletta. Okay, bye guys.